Wow, there's a lot of people in here already. If anybody wants to say something, raise your hand. It's open for anybody. Speaker authority or whatever. Any questions or anything? I helped a friend today set up his Sologenic. It was a bit more effort than I expected. He was taking his XRP in off of Uppy. Once he got it into some, it was super easy. But it was indicator. He didn't have some account verification steps done, so maybe a little more. But it was mostly on the getting his X wallet and out of the Uphold wallet. So, have any real agenda here? Again, this is just one of these chats. So, join the conversation. Anybody's welcome to speak up. I guess I've got a few more people in the next few days to try and get their Sologenic trust line set up. It might take longer than today, but good project. I get the sense that NASDAQ's probably behind the scenes. I can definitely say it would be very beneficial if Sologenic or an NYSE or an ICE, as a partner behind the scenes. Because what they're trying to achieve, to me, looks like a pretty big undertaking. Has anybody in here looked at the Vagabond Airdrop? I haven't had time to figure out and read and see what it is that they're actually doing. And again, just raise your hand, anybody. When I say I don't know what they're doing, I mean, I haven't even had a second to look at it, so I have no clue. I've been talking to a couple different, all Ripple related, Interledger Protocol related, derivatives related, and there's a lot going on, but I haven't had. Does anybody know what's going on with the Vagabond? Is it bond thing? Should I just start inviting random people to speak up? I don't want to talk to myself. A couple of people here at the top to speak up if you want to. Some of these before.
I saw it. I've actually been moving the past couple of weeks, so it's been kind of hectic for me to get on. So I saw your meeting, and I'm trying to figure it out. What I was reading earlier, correct me if I'm wrong, but we need to transfer up to 1,000 XRP to a Zoom wallet, and then you get.
Not exactly. There's not a specified many people participate and don't participate. There's a fixed amount that they're gonna, more people that don't participate, the better for those who do. There is something where if you do a certain amount of solo, I think you get there's some truth. I don't know what it is. Hold on, let me look it up. But there's some truth to confusing projects. Hang on, let me turn my computer on. There was something that I saw picks up 10% today from the last time I looked at it. I think they have a card or rewards or. I was reading their white paper the other day and I was pretty impressed. Sologenic Airdrop. No, not that. There might be something if you have a certain amount, you get additional That's what it was. Like a like a like a card. And you get certain rewards if you have a certain amount of solo.
The question was, is going back to the airdrop, because I still haven't got my songbird, and that's been kind of a headache. And from the sounds of it, reading the solo website, and today, one of the gentlemen on the Discord, he just transferred 1,000 solo or 1,000 X. Have that snapshot on the 20th or the 24th. I can't remember. And he said you're supposed to be getting one ratio. So I think if you're working with Zoom directly, I mean, that's going to be a lot more, I guess, not guaranteed, but I don't know, the percentage is higher that we'll actually get our solo and player.
So Tony with Thinking Crypto? He did an interview the other day with the co-founder of Solo, and I forget the guy's name offhand. Articulated, hey, there's not a set, ratio. And he acknowledged that somebody said that you would get 0.2, so 20%, and 5 solo per solo. But I think that's more of a guesstimate, and he quickly walked that back and said, look, we're not going to know until basically December 24th when the airdrop, when the
snapshot. Yeah. So what is going to happen is they have 100 million for solo holders and 100 million for XRP holders. And at the time of the snapshot, we will actually then know how much are eligible. But for solo, you can make the maximum case. Right now, there's, I think, 200 million solo. So if everyone would be eligible for the airdrop, then you could say, okay, 200 million will be dropped, and then you can make the math. And I think maybe it was 1 or 0.5, I'm not sure, like in this vicinity. But probably a little bit more, because many of the solo in staking protocols and so on, and not every exchange is participating. 0.5 for sure per solo, but definitely not sure one holding. It was just an example. Also on their webpage, it was just stated it's just an example, and for XRP, it's not like with Vagabond. It just depends on your XRP holding. So you have to do you have to set the trust line and hold XRP. How much you hold is up to you. So there's no, so to speak, whale protection. So you can have 100,000 XRP, 200,000 that solo. So the more people participate, the less, of course, you get. And it will probably look like the solo people will get more airdrop than the XRP folks. But it depends also on how much really will be at the time. Yeah, Jeffrey, I think, wanted to say something.
So Jeffrey wants to speak, but is that a function of basically there's less solo holders than XRP holders? Is that where the ratio difference comes in?
Just a set amount. I think, as I said, I think it is 200 million of solo that can be maximum eligible. For XRP, there's no upper bound. So you could have like 1 million people with thousands of XRP being eligible, and they all have to compete for this 100 million solo that is going to dedicated airdropped only for XRP folks, and 100 million only for solo.
Gotcha. Jeffrey, do you want to step up?
Yeah, I had stepped away for a little bit, so I didn't hear the whole conversation. But yeah, like you said, it really depends. Like they gave ratio 5 solo to 1 solo that you hold, but I think that might change. Like you said, depending on regards to XRP, it's the same, right? They gave the ratio of 0.2, so 20% of your XRP will have the trust line and how many XRP are part of that snapshot, I would imagine. Some examples in that case. But I don't know how much you guys were talking about Vagabond. I see Moonchaser on here. I don't know if she spoke yet. I had went outside. Yeah, I had spoken with Vagabond. I'm actually working on a project myself, solution to where they can build certain applications using blockchain. So they use the XRP ledger. So it really depends. So I've been in conversation with them trying to figure, but the team is pretty, they have a lot of good experience. I felt really comfortable that they're going to do a good job, and maybe Moonchaser she might have talked to him more than what I have. But yeah, definitely they're trying to provide a solution to developers, to build out your own solution. They can help provide that. Either it really depends on how complicated your project. I have some where it's like plug and play for like payment services. Also for like other paper on the website, you can see that. Sustainability has to do with more of the environment, like the carbon, and also, showing how much emissions you have for other things as well. So mine is more relay track, like chemical exposures for employees. So it's a little bit more complicated, but the idea with mine is to store the data since it is employee information. So I see Moonchaser has her hand up, so she can.
My brother actually works for the EPA doing some of their systems admin.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning from Tokyo. Thank you, Jeffrey. And with regards to the Vagabond Airdrop, is that unfortunately registration for this airdrop has been shot on the 1st of December. It has received a very positive response. If you're interested, there is actually an ICO that will be done for the Binance Smart Chain side of things. With Vagabond, they actually are, because they're actually building on top of two different networks, the XRP ledger and the network. So that's why there are two different tokens that are going to be issued. Happy to answer them in this discussion. Thanks.
Yeah, I've got questions because when you say it's closed, was there like a limited number of trust lines that were open for claiming, kind of thing?
Yes, it's unfortunate because there's a limited amount of tokens. There are 20 million designated for the airdrop, so that's why it's basically a first come first served basis, and the amount of vagabonds are capped to 1,000 vagabonds per a trust line. Yeah, so that's why there's a limit with regards to registration.
Okay. It was sort of basing the airdrop not on how much XRP you had, but on X number per trust line. So that must have
been. It may have been because I guess the Vagabond, they don't. First of all, they're trying to promote a relatively fair airdrop, but because of the amount of bots and trust line farmers, with all of the projects that have been introduced to the XRP ledger, it has been a major problem because I work with Aesthetis as well, and they had a major problem with that. And so, of course, the same has happened with the Vagabond registration. A lot of bots and trust line farmers have entered the system, and we cannot prevent greed, but that's the way they chose to set up the airdrop. So hopefully, it's distributed to as many people as possible. Hopefully.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because, like, I've got, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 30 accounts, 25, 30 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't set trust lines on all of them to try and game the system. Most of those accounts have nothing but reserves in them. But I thought that was an interesting way to try and handle what did you call it, trust line farming? I mean, that's a new word for me.
Yeah, trust line farmers. Yeah, there's such a thing. It's a major problem with regards to XRP Ledger project airdrops.
So, okay, beyond the airdrop, what is Vagabond, if you know, or if you can? What are they doing? What is the project's purpose?
Okay, the project's purpose basically. Are you familiar with Salesforce?
Oh yeah.
Okay. They want to be the Salesforce of the blockchain. So basically, they want to provide business as a service solution. So they provide a variety of business modules or decentralized applications to address basically business needs. In a nutshell, in a major nutshell, yes.
But so Are they doing that? Like, I know on Salesforce, it's a platform, right? And so you have these applications, or I don't know what they call them. It's been a while since I've been on there, but they have all these applications that are on top of the platform. Is Vagabond trying to be like a platform, and then other apps?
Basically, they are a platform, and they will provide business modules to address the needs of people or businesses that want to generate. So they provide things from, let's say, an NFT marketplace to project missions, fundraising. If your company has anything that generates income, they'll be able to provide such an app for.
There are third-party developers building on top of the platform, kind of like there's, and then there's like
Okay, this is all in-house for Vagabond. So I'm a more fundamental person, but from my understanding, it's like a more of a hybrid. What they're trying to do is they're trying to build on the strengths of different blockchains. So for fast transactions, cheap payments, etc., and it's going to provide. They can provide the smart contract side of things, which the XRP ledger cannot. That's their approach at the moment.
So, what is it that the XRP ledger hands raised? I'll go to you guys.
Yes, at the moment the XRP ledger cannot facilitate smart contracts because we will have to wait for the approval.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that? Did you say?
Either you or Sudo.
Oh, Sudo can go first. That's fine.
Oh yeah, sorry. A quick question to Moonchaser. So Vagabond's sites had this form, and I noticed that if there's a lookup when you check your address, if it's captured or not, it says it's captured the information. But my question is, will there be a similar lookup form or lookup search that you're going to be eligible for the airdrop?
Yes. So at the moment, they've got a site where you can confirm your registration. However, eligibility for the airdrop, they will be providing a similar tool after the snapshot. So once they've done their scan and audit of this snapshot, they will provide a tool whereby you can put in the XRP account that you registered and to see.
Okay. So my question is, I think there are over my estimate would be there are over 100,000 who have registered. So is there a fix? But I'm not updated at all. So how many would be the eligible trust lines that would get this airdrop?
I don't think they can define the amount of trust lines that are. Like I said, the airdrop is limited to 1,000 vagabonds per trust line people hold in their accounts, and also it's up to the discretion of Vagabond as to how they go ahead.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know where Vagabond is based?
Headquartered and incorporated in Frankfurt, Germany, and they also have subsidiaries in the Ukraine, Emirates.
Okay, cool. Jeffrey, did you want to speak up?
Like when I checked Vagabond on the XRPL trust line website, you can 5,000 trust lines, but I had saw it like a Twitter that came out from Vagabond when I looked like around the same time, and they said they had like 25,000 trust lines, so it can separate them, but they said go ahead and still apply. That was, I guess, that was about a week ago or something like that. I mean, it's closed now, but even a week ago there was still some chance, and again, it goes back to whether or not you have 1,000 XRP in your Zoom account, right? Mm-hmm. So to like Vagabond, yeah, when I spoke to them, they do have developers in-house where they can build out the application, the project and how much it entails and how much time and all that stuff. So I want to do it on blockchain now or just build out my MVP. I have some other developers, but I'm looking at it more data control in the future. So I might incorporate that later. So even if you wanted to build a software or whatever you have, if the code is similar, like JavaScript or Node.js, there's a solution in the future. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I had been looking at Hedera with like the health data and privacy, for all that. So, so they have a solution. It really depends. I mean, if anybody has an idea or project, you can approach them and see if it's a good fit. And they have that blockchain as a service solution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey. Actually, Vagabond, they have a team of 40 developers based in the Ukraine and Germany. So they do have quite a development team, and they are ready to address if your business is interested in finding a blockchain solution. I guess that's what they do to democratize blockchain to the mass that they cater to. It's also available for everyday users like you and I. We can go on and sample their NFT marketplace with the interface that they're developing. We can do that and create that. There is a actual free module for us to do that. But what vision we have for our own project, we can apply for that free module, or it scales up to like enterprise level fees as well. So yeah, it's a really interesting project, and I really encourage everyone to.
Emails and stuff from other things. But how is Vagabond like Salesforce, and why distributed? Like, why does that need to be the cloud more cost, right? Like computationally.
Yeah, I think the problem is that right now, even like the situation to have blockchain experience is very difficult. So that's why I think blockchain is fairly new, right? So there's a lot of developers that have certain skill sets, certain languages that they know. I believe is what they're trying to do, and get their name out there to provide that solution for anybody wanting to build on. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely a first mover play, but also with regards to, let's say, companies, all of the data is centralized. Whereas, with blockchain thing, the people who are behind Vagabond, they all come from a corporate. And when they were out consulting with clients, they found that there was a gap in the market with regards to businesses want to access this technology, but how to go about it. So, like with centralized solutions, they can. By bringing your business onto the blockchain, you are going and don't share it with other people. So yeah, it's about data security as well.
Business partners that do stuff in like healthcare software and HIPAA and all that. Then believe it or not, it's more burdensome than financial services.
Because I'm doing sampling for like air sampling for chemicals or noise or radio. Employee records have to be kept for 40 years after somebody retires.
Wow.
So there isn't a solution that ties everything together. So I'm trying to build that company. The company has to make sure they're provided the right, protection, engineering controls, PPE, are they wearing them correctly? And so then when they leave, a lot of times they'll get a stack of papers showing their exposure history. But you have to find, and I'm working on a way to do that, to where somebody leaves a company, say they work for like BP and then they go to Exxon. Well, Exxon, the person, so you do all these tests, health surveillance tests, you do pulmonary function tests, all that stuff to get a baseline. But then again, you have to have that data to show if they develop something working for Exxon, was it with Exxon? Claims get denied because employees or workers cannot show that data. So it ends and they're left with a disability or illness,
There might be reasons, Jeffrey.
Yeah, for sure.
Specifically, but I'm, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to have to just read about Vagabond because I'm not. It is that the technology is doing. I mean, I love that it's on XRP Ledger. I'm a major XRP, but I'm I'm struggling to see the fundamental for absorbing the additional cost of going decentralized. You were just saying, Jeffrey, like, what if an employer, if you're an employee, right? You basically, and what if your employer just says, we'll just shut down that database to the data that you were exposed to the chemical at this point in time. So,
yeah, and that's what's happening. So there's a lot of people who get denied workers' compensation because we have to go back and look at objective data for similar exposure. And that's very hard to find. So there's a way to do it. I get it all figured out. I filed a patent on it. And so, yeah, it's really, like, I've been in my profession for 20 years, and there's really been no solution so far. So, and that's kind of what Vagabond's trying to do, is try to hook up all parties, because I've been so hard for me to find them, or find the right ones,
There's a lot for quality developers in the space.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what Vagabond's trying to do, So how the Vagabond token comes into play, answer that. I don't know if it's like a fuel or something, part of their payment platform or what. It's more for the development side on my end. Anyway. Moonchaser, do you know how the Vagabond token is going to be used within their...
The address is somewhere. I'm at the moment. It's like 7:30 in the morning in Tokyo. So it's at my peak hour. Trying to concentrate and contribute at the same time. Perhaps another time I can come back and explain that. Doing is, as I said, they want to be like the Salesforce of the blockchain, and it's mainly to address the needs that businesses have with regards to live manner can be brought onto the blockchain. So, and that's the future, because people want to be in control of their data, and the only way to do that is really to put it on something of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Here, but has anybody heard of Enigma? The blockchain or project?
No, I haven't heard of them.
Israeli data scientists and to bring in zero knowledge proofs, and they have years since I looked at them. They have is used, I believe. Oh, I'm probably going to be wrong. I believe is used to help facilitate between like the raw data, but through zero knowledge proof, they don't have to share the raw data, and then you've got and turn the data into information, and the people who have the raw data, this would probably fall in line with your HIPAA stuff, Jeffrey. Well, they share it, but it's through zero ZKP, zero knowledge, whatever. And the processors can run the process and calculate and then return the results back. And then the token in the middle is to match. Does that make any sense?
The main thing is only those who should receive the information have the ability to do that, right? Like, there's possibly doctors or somebody might need that information. So again, that's another way to do that, exposure or signs, and then they can tie everything together, scramble that data, in case somebody else intercepts it. So
literally dying because we don't have data flow.
Yeah, like, just for example, there's 160 million illnesses and over 2.4 million people die across the world, and it's probably even higher than that because we don't have a...
Oof, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Until this whole use case for blockchain.
Yeah.
Like, a use case.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem I run into is talking to the old way, so like where I have a prototype built, I have a lot of contacts because I work for a lot of major companies before. So I together, like, I've already done my marketing. I just need I just need somebody to help me build it. And they have that potential, so we'll see. I'm trying to work some things out.
One project that I'm talking to, and they initially tried to in-house their development team, and then and they're much happier outsourcing.
Correct.
I think they outsourced it to like a Texas team, or manager handles the developers.
Correct. So that's what I'm doing now. I had some freelance developers trying, pretty difficult to manage, especially if somebody doesn't have the skill set. But it's better to, now I've linked up with some guys or like CTOs, but they provide on a fractional basis and fulfill that role, because I don't have the coding background, but I have the technical side. Find the right pieces to put everything together, right? So yeah, definitely having the ability to out skill sets is very important.
Hold on, I didn't have my mic on. Yeah, it's a development talent, and I don't know that I see that fast enough.
And that's why I think Vagabond's trying to solve this, right? They're trying to be a solution for multiple projects, if they know the blockchain coding and all that stuff and how to tie it all together. So
okay, well, I think of Salesforce. I think of
together all the all the pieces together to help with the marketing, right?
Yeah, but if they're doing, like a distributed sourcing of developer talent, that
yeah, they say a blockchain as a service, right? So basically, that's blockchain to complete a blockchain project.
Yeah, basically Vagabond, they want those to come to the XRP ledger and Binance Smart Chain to build their products, but they were next on high on the list, and also Songbird and so yeah, they're looking to build on the strengths of different.
Yeah, for sure. When I spoke to them, they said, nothing beats XRP right now as far as paying XRP for that purpose. And yeah, once federated sidechains come, or like funding with smart contracts, then they'll incorporate that as well.
That's right. They're waiting for they wait for the federated sidechains amendment, and also the for NFTs. It's the once that comes in, they will consider those functionalities on the XRP. They have to look at other networks.
Yeah, correct. And they have a in talking to them, because I had asked them certain questions, because I thought about creating my own token in order for my platform itself. But he said it's pretty challenging to do. It really depends on what you want to do with it. If it has utility, then there's probably more hoops you have to run through to prove that, right? So that's always been my concern on building something on the XRP ledger. But it goes back to how you're marketing it, distributing it, what the utility is, all the things that kind of the Ripple SEC case is running into at this point in time. So
let's say, I guess this I'm just trying to understand, so let's say I have a project, which I've got a couple, and let's say I needed to do like a federated sidechain. Are you saying I can contact Vagabond and outsource the development to them, and then what do I pay them in Vagabond? Is that how the token? What's the economics of the token?
Okay, so let's approach this this question one step at a time. So your initial question, is that the initial question?
Well, I mean, if I should, if there's no reason, then I'd
a set business modules that are available, and depending on the need of the business operations itself. So if they are able to address that, then they will work with you.
And so is there like a website of theirs that I go look at?
Yes.
And look at what modules they have available?
Yes, it's all on the website. They have a white paper out. It's quite a substantial white paper, and it's still in draft mode, actually. So with regards to your business requirements, but because that's what they are trying to address. They're not trying to really address the technological side, that the business capabilities with the blockchain, but they're more looking towards addressing business solutions for the consumer.
Okay, so when you made the analogy to Salesforce, you're more talking about you're not necessarily talking about sales.
Correct. We're talking more about business. However, because they want to their vision is to democratize blockchain technology to small to medium sized enterprises can basically, or even large enterprises, including governments, can build upon their platform. So, but they are actually targeting smaller scale enterprises because larger corporations have access to funds, whereas the small enterprises or individuals don't have those resources.
Now I get it. That makes more sense. And by the way, we're down to like 4 speakers. So if anybody wants to, it's an open chat, and the topic of conversation can change. Anybody has, ask away.
Yeah, I think we can just speak about other things. And we talked quite a bit for Vagabond, but in regards to like Flare and stuff, when that's all going to happen, I guess waiting for is the airdrop, or for the Songbird network, the XFi airdrop platform, right? Or they're going to call it that, like December 18th or something like that. So I guess the XFi token, what D-Flare would be, or Y-Flare would be, and then convert it to SIN or something like that. Kind of like
probably won't fit. But that's gonna be Flare.
Right. Okay.
So the X of Songbird, which ultimately they'll be on top of the Flare, the production network of Flare network.
Right.
And but that's like saying, Flare would be like analogous to Ethereum, and then Flare Finance would be analogous to like a smart contract.
Okay.
Or a group of guys that are building multiple smart contracts on top of Ethereum.
Right.
And suited.
So basically, this is what I am understand. I think it's similar to what Salesforce and SAP is doing most of the time. So I think that Vagabond wants to set a standard when it comes to entities. So very much likely have this Salesforce instead of organization create their own database model such as person employees or something. I think Vagabond is trying to implement the same, but it most likely utilize on availability of for example, an organization is so I think Vagabonds there would be a marketplace for Vagabond for this employee, and those applications will be available on the marketplace. So it's up to the application on the marketplace. I think the utility of the token of Vagabond
So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just thinking, if a business would an application that might be used to hold them accountable when they can otherwise kind of, any sense?
Oh well, basically the solution that SAP and sales, we have these standard entities. So the entities such as the properties of the organization when it comes to when you're so instead the organization have create to adopt the employee model of this platform, choosing reinventing the wheel of creating this model, they would have to adopt the model of Vagabond. And the use case would be that instead of adjusting most of these entities or the data that they some sort of like with the use of application that will be ideally available on the marketplace, it will entirely compatible with that application because the developer had an idea what would be the model of application. It depends on the architecture that this kind of platforms such as Vagabond, SAP, and Salesforce had been, have been implementing. Just like it's like normalizing um, the database or the boilerplate that has been going on the technology. So,
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I entirely followed that. I think I
yeah,
see where you're
yeah,
going.
it's complicated, but I can see what they are currently going because I've been like I had experience when it comes to work on some large systems, bank systems. So this bank system have their own, sets of models, sets of database, and using solutions providers such as SAP and Salesforce reduce the creating their own models and entities. So I think that's what currently Vagabond is blockchain. So the blockchain and availability of the application. So individual developers, small developers or small organization can engage into be provided by Vagabond. So it will create an opening to all developers to develop their own app. Also, they can easily promote the application the organization if they will be using that application. So it's going to be compatible with that entities provide. If I made sense, that's what I'm currently seeing right here.
I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure I really fully get it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I get the the feel out of my bailiwick, but I think
Yeah. So for example, Google, sets of data centers, right? And most probably they do have of their databases. So I think Vagabond's goal is centralize the database, not actually the database, but the entities that that will be this organization created to have a common databases there to have this compatible application created by developers in the Vagabond space. So
that makes sense.
yeah.
I can see that,
Mhm.
and that would make sense for like that use case. I think I get it
Mhm. The
50%.
usability, yeah, the reusability, it's actually that's what most of in developers world is to one of our best practices was to reuse application. We are trying to avoid reinventing the wheel. API that could help us without providing our own that will do. So I think that the one is trying to achieve.
Okay, it's almost like what I would call like a shared service.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yep.
reusing.
Yeah, yeah, shared services. So instead, the application would work because Vagabond sets this standard entities, and when a developer created an application, it would be easy for other.
Yeah, pick it up on. Don't reinvent the wheel, basically.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to look more into this.
Yeah, like a lot of developers will have some of their systems already set up modules for certain information that they don't have to go and rewrite, right? So they can pull certain information and pull it together. And I think that's kind of what they want to serve, but for the blockchain part of it.
GitHub.
Yeah. Yeah. It's GitHub, based on blockchain technology, or with there's certain things you can pull for like my developers. What they would do is go out and find certain and then just bring it like all together. So maybe it's kind of what they're doing.
So I'm going to do about another 30 minutes on this, and then I got to start cooking dinner.
I was going to ask, did I miss out on the airdrop for the Vagabond?
I believe it appears so. I didn't realize that, but I think I learned that in this chat.
Quick rant too. Like, I'm just upset still how these exchanges is not like releasing like Airbird. You know, still upset about that. But I just encourage everybody to hold on to, like, if they're still encourage it though.
Well, to speak to that point, this.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll encourage it. I mean, it's a less than 17, but most definitely.
Yeah, a long time. I've known this guy since preschool, literally. XRP and stuff out of Uphold into the Sum wallet for.
Yeah, I mean, I currently use a ledger, so I do have that. But I mean, by all means.
Yeah, Ledger works. I have a decent wallet sitting right here that I haven't set up yet. I was going to use that because I believe they're on, but doing a pretty good job integrating with Flare and some of the projects building on top of Flare network.
Yeah. I mean, is there really like pros and cons? I haven't really done my research in the decent advantages that you know of. I mean, I know you just said you haven't used it yet, but
I think that providers, hardware wallet, well, it's a biometric, so you've got that aspect, setting them apart from the herd or from the rest.
No,
but I think they're have a bit of a focus on Flare network, Flare finance, projects that are being built on those networks, and it's effort for these hardware wallets. I mean, it's significant effort for them to build an interface for each one of these new projects, because the projects are going to keep growing exponentially. Like it's not like the number of.
I definitely believe it. I mean, I'm old enough to see the internet, age come around and, see a lot of things invest into it. I mean, and just because, like you said, it's going to grow exponentially. You don't know when, but it's going to grow.
Well, I get the sense we're at the point where at like the very beginning of the exponential curve. Like this stuff has been, I mean, there's just all of a sudden I'm seeing that's just what's publicly available. And like, I know I'm talking to people that are not public yet, like more non-public than I'm even aware of. And
oh, sorry. I basically, my apologies. Is it you had to fill out the paperwork? Is my understanding correct?
What do you mean by
Fill out the paperwork. There's like a Google Doc or something, and goes off of how much XRP you're holding, and then you had to fill out like a Google Doc, and then it errored. The original one errored. And then you had to go back and got like 25,000 people on the airdrop list. Right? Is that true? Does anyone know? That was mine.
I think Moonchaser's the authority in this chat on Vagabond. I don't know.
With regards to how many have registered, we don't have the final numbers yet because there's so many that will be announced after the snapshot.
Oh, okay.
No, the snapshot is going to take place on the 1st of December, I believe 12 UTC time. So Vagabond will provide a tool for you to confirm your eligibility for the airdrop.
Still up to 1,000 XRP or something that matches?
Yes, so you want to make the maximum amount of Vagabonds just have a minimum of 1,000 XRP in this line was registered.
Okay, great. Perfect. And then so it's not, you didn't have to be like the first X amount of trust lines or anything like that. It's basically.
No, it's more, which wasn't a Google Doc, it was based on their website, where registration was only really asked you for your XRP account, the one where you had set up your trust line, and email was just an option. It wasn't required for registration. It was just to filter out bots, really.
Yeah, I noticed that it was optional, and I still gave it. I don't mind for these type of purposes either way, you know. Not only that, informational.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why. But a lot of people are so sensitive. So, yeah, I'm glad that you recognize that.
I mean,
so cool.
So, Chaser, is there is it trust line?
Yeah. For the XRP Ledger airdrop, it's closed. Unfortunately, they are offering an ICO for the Binance Smart Chain token that they will issue. Interesting was they actually offered a DCO, which is a DEX coin offering for the XRP Ledger within the XRP community. We're not accustomed to the let's say on the Ethereum side. So there was an uproar, and people had no idea there was an uproar, and so they decided to refund the people who actually applied for the how vocal our community is. So an airdrop, whereas the other community, they will have an ICO.
So as long as I got on that list on the first, correct?
Correct.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
So then, do you have to be like a Binance customer?
No. Information account that will have information with regards to the ICO. So yes, they made an announcement a few days ago asking if anyone was interested in it, and I think some information has reached those people. But there will be information with regards to the ICO if you follow them on Twitter.
Now they made an announcement. Just so I'm clear, I just want to make sure it was the right one. They also did an announcement on Discord, correct, for the Vagabond list, the new upcoming website that you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah,
they're
okay.
on Discord, they're on Telegram. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where I got it. Okay, great. So I just want to make sure I had the right one. Beautiful. And then, so I'm not mistaken. So they did have an initial form to fill out, and then they came out with a second one. That is correct, right?
No, they only had one form, but I think it crashed because so many people.
Oh, that's what happened. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then they rectified the situation and got it up and running again. Yeah.
Well, that's why it's important that you follow the Discord if you really, the projects, you know.
Well, I think because I'm involved with a group that actually looks at all these new projects that come out on the XRP Ledger. There are so many projects that come out, several a day. Mostly meme tokens, mostly NFT related tokens. But as we know, NFTs cannot be minted natively on the XRP Ledger until the XLS 20 comes out or gets passed. So at the moment, it's basically a lot of IOU type NFT related projects. And
well,
a lot of
with the exception of like some places, they have like sort of a viewer. Like you can, they're doing like
with the Super Eagle coin, they've used the A-status viewer. But yes, but the majority, I would say majority.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So just be careful, everyone.
Yeah, I actually was a victim. I had Beats NFT and XR Puma. And once I was a victim of that rug pull, I started I still match. Basically, here's what I do. I sign up for the airdrop. I make sure that there's enough Twitter history and so to quote unquote street cred, if you will. Make sure they didn't just open a Twitter account yesterday, more or less. And then as long as, there's some history there and I got some people and some followers, then I'll just match the airdrop and hold everything.
Yeah, I would advise everyone not to buy into any of the tokens. That's what I tell people. Well, I tell people to do their own research, but don't buy into the tokens because, you're setting up a trust line, which is fine. There's no problems there. But once you part with your precious XRP, that's when things can go haywire because rug pulls happen all the time. We have.
I'll second that, Moon Chaser.
Sorry.
And I'll second that. So I said I will second what you're saying and back up exactly what you're saying. 100%.
Well, yes, but but fortune favors the brave. Let's not forget.
Yeah, but setting a trust line is a very low risk thing. Maybe takes a little effort, but very low risk. And when someone starts asking you for money or XRP, I agree with you. That's all I'm going to say, just for the benefit of the people listening.
Right. Without experience, especially. If you don't have experience, it's not a game. You just want.
Yeah, but if you follow certain Twitter accounts, like basically there are who New Zealand, the elephant.
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
Yeah, he's a validator. He's a UNL validator, and you know there's a group of validators and developers. That's a group of them. They actually do work behind the scenes to look at all these projects, and dodgy. That's all I can say. So please don't part with your precious XRP. That's all I can say.
Well, so let me ask you: do you think now when you say like dodgy, you like affect the whole entire system, like the token creator?
No, not from like a token. From a risk perspective for people, you know, they love free airdrops and then they get caught up with the FOMO and the hype, and you're protective of those projects, and they'll start to, you know, shield those projects as well. So
now, if you had to rate the overall safety of ZUM and this amount of tokens and stuff coming out, the overall safety and the community and stuff is, how would you say it's?
There's no issue with the Sum wallet at all, Sum community. It's about the token issuer because they basically, but that doesn't stop them from scamming.
Right, because it's still on the people to file a report information there, but it's still up to the people to pursue it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I'll say the Sum wallet guys are top class.
I speak with Nixer and Whites and all of them, and they're all great guys, willing to help rate quickly.
Yeah, we're very lucky that we have Wind and the guys on Sum, but yeah, there are a lot of dodgy, greedy members, so we have to stay vigilant.
I saw a post from Ripple It In, the Elephant Man, like, I don't know, 60 something trust lines out, and they were like one letter off of the other real one. There's like a whole bunch that, like, you know, if you get the letter wrong and by one letter, like XR Shiba, it was like, you know how they do weird things?
Classic.
Yeah. And I was just, you know, you got like such a great community, a great group of people who are all on the same.
Sorry, I just got a call. I don't know if that screwed the chat up.
Done.
I thought it was a submarine getting ready to die. That's what I thought personally. But
hi, Chip. I see Chip's in the chat.
Hey, Moonchip. Good to hear. Yeah, there's a lot of scams out there, but you know that means the space is. Unfortunately, it's with our community, which is not a good thing. But that's why we all have to look out for each other, and look out for each other, because I think that's what's remarkable. Everybody's in it for themselves, but that's what I find about not only this community, but this on the XRP side, but people who understand the tech, people who understand what's happening as far as advancements. But again, you'll see somebody on Twitter ask a question, and it might be a silly question, you know, or DM them and say, you know, careful. Or I've seen some crazy stuff out there where people will DM me stuff like, hey, you know, Chip, I lost all my. Someone told me to send me their seed words, and it's like you can't do enough education on that. But unfortunately, it does happen, and it is pretty sad. But again, that's what I think community is all about. If we're neighborly community and we're watching out for each other, these kind of spaces kind of put out there and kind of give. And sometimes it's more about helping somebody. You help somebody get what they want, you get what you want in the process.
So I couldn't agree more. It really deeply bothers me. I made one math mistake and I screwed myself, and I fell to a predatory lender. And I've learned so much from the XRP community, and I came into the XRP community feeling like I've tripled my knowledge since hanging around, and just the quality of people. and I really appreciate the folks that are, I don't know how to say this, that are just honest and forthright and to the point, factual, and that's really what I want these spaces to be. My goal, if I was to summarize my goal with these spaces in one word, it'd be educational. And the more people that join in, that, you know, Moonchaser, it's been a pleasure having you. I didn't know anything that you said today. I mean, I've learned a lot from you tonight. And I feel like the more we can get that kind of stuff going around, the more we can prevent these scammer hacks from taking advantage of and being predator. It's really like world changing stuff. And that's what gets me excited.
Yeah, I am just a very proud member of the XRP community. I think we have a fantastic, close-knit community. And I'm like everyone. I'm just here to learn in the space. And yeah, I just want to. Sounds cliche, but that's the truth. Anyway, have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for joining, Moonchaser.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it.
Did anybody talk about the Sologenic airdrop coming up on the snapshot on the 24th of December?
Yeah, that's how this whole conversation started, and then we went off.
I figured it was. I saw it was in the. I saw it was in the title of this, but always good to sort of revisit. I don't know if you guys already covered it, then that's fine. But I didn't know if.
Go for it. I mean, I don't have that much more time. I probably got another 10, 15, 20. But if you have some knowledge, share, please do.
It's not really knowledge; it's just like more like commentary. But I think it was impressive by the team over there at Sologenic that was more people you get involved, and then of course Tony Edward, Thinking Crypto, did a interview with Bob Rass, who's the CEO over there, and he kind of let something slide to the effect that, well, we got something else we're going to be announcing, but my team will crush me if I tell you what it is. So it's kind of like it's a really nice way to float that, get it out there. But again, it's very ingenious to be able to talk about this airdrop, because look at how it affected the price too, but in a positive way, not in a scammy way, not in a weird way, but just in a really positive way.
Yeah, I get the sense that they're very legit. Maybe you know more than me, but I also kind of reading between the lines. I'm wondering if the NASDAQ is quietly behind the scenes.
Yeah, it could be. Like on our podcast, we interviewed Reza Bashar, and it was funny. We were supposed to interview Mr. Ross, but unfortunately something happened at the last minute, and he ended up not being able to make it. But I always felt like they've had a really solid team in place over there and doing good stuff, and the whole tokenization. So they're doing. As I live in the U.S., wasn't able to participate in that, and kind of wish I had, but at the time, we weren't able to participate. So,
well, I was very impressed with their project so far. I know they're not even live yet, but I've read the white paper, securities license, so I kind of get some of the stuff. They're getting a broker-dealer license. From the interview with Thinking Crypto, I understand that they're kind of using two different entities. That makes sense to me. To me, it looks like they're doing things in a very legitimate, adult, regulated way. And that's how I would like to see. I mean, none of these projects are going to be easy. And what their ambition is big.
yeah, agreed. Long pause. It's like, is this thing still on? Hello? Is this on?
Yeah, you're still there.
Yeah,
just
for
wanted
sure.
make sure.
To be able to tokenize stocks and get that on the market, that doesn't exist right now anywhere, does it?
No, not that I'm aware of.
And to have it on the XRP ledger, you can have the settlement in 3 seconds. And so I think it's a game changer, myself, just being able to pull everything together and make it happen.
I don't understand how they're going to pull it off. I mean, it's really, truly a major undertaking. Seriously, a major undertaking on a number of fronts. Regulatory front, tech front, business development front. You're gonna bumped into before if you start fractionalizing these equities.
Yeah, because somebody had a question about how do you maintain the price or something because you're open 24/7, right? Using crypto versus, the regular stock market open from like 9 to 4 or whatever it is. So how do you control the fluctuations in the price?
Oh, that's an astute question. Good question. I mean, there is after hours markets, but I don't, that's not really the same thing. That brings in floating transaction volumes across time. It's what I'm saying, man. It's a big undertaking.
Yeah, for sure. You would think that they might have support from somebody to make it happen. Somebody you would almost to be able to do it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the NASDAQ still closes.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as setting up the whole thing and going that direction. So actually, if you look at it, if you're able to trade stocks 24/7, it gives everybody a level playing field. Whereas people, there's after hour trading, right? People who know what the market's going to do actually benefits them versus somebody like us that have no idea, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, your after hours markets have a lower volume, thus a higher liquidity risk. So if, you can take advantage of that liquidity risk premium if you somehow or another know but then I think you're bumping into like insider trading.
Yeah, but that still happens, right? Insider trading still happens within the hedge funds and all that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. That's playing field if they can pull it off.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, to me, 24/7, 365 trading.
Yeah, for sure. And to be able to have settlement that quickly as well, because it just speeds up the velocity of money.
100%. Yes. 100%.
So, I just want to say, hey, Karma, hey, Jeffrey. Speak to Jeffrey or being part of some of the chats that he's been involved in quite recently. I just want to say how you going. The question was asked: how you going to control the price if the market's going to be open 24/7? Let's just say, like the market when they tokenize that Nasdaq, it probably won't have to be open 24/7. They'll probably just maintain the same opening hours as the Nasdaq. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily have to be 24/7 until the Nasdaq.
Yeah, good to see you, Daniel. Yeah, that's a good thought. I guess we'll find out as soon as it starts going, right? Yeah, there's so many questions that need to be answered.
Well, it's going to be a few years, but I would Sologenic at let's go with an unscientific relatively high. I don't know. There seems to be some alignment.
Yeah, well, if they were smart, they would do that if it starts taking off.
And definitely, too, we've always talked about price discovery for XRP. Maybe this is a way, this being built on Sologenic's building on the XRP ledger. So maybe there's some ties to that. How do we get our price discovery for XRP?
Well, and if you talk about that, so don't forget the derivatives market, right? So if Sologenic is successful, and that's a big if, we don't know. They're not even freaking live yet. But the next thing to come on top of that is going to be derivatives. And that brings in your leverage, that brings in your risk management, which is the big thing, because once you can manage risk, this is counterintuitive, but when you're doing startups and stuff, the way you grow enterprise value is actually by the technology problem. The service works. You solve the sales problem. We have distribution, whatever, problem after problem. And as you tick those boxes and solve those problems, the enterprise value goes up. Well, you can't have derivatives until you have the underlying, equities and securities like what Sologenic is proposing. So I see this as I'm thinking big picture here, but I see this as a march in the direction and until we have a complete market, we're not going to have a complete market until we have derivatives that are robust with liquidity, and then we can have risk management. And
Exactly.
risk management is key.
And I think, not obviously, but I don't think things will happen with Sologenic until this lawsuit with XRP and Ripple gets settled or resolved. Because if it is a security, then that might drive some complications in using a security to then on the NASDAQ.
I hadn't thought about that till you just said it, but that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's true with Flare as well, right? You look at all the DeFi, all the questions coming up with DeFi, and I kind of think possibly that might be why Flare's been delayed. I don't know. Some say no, some say,
I've been feeling the same.
And what's the stats with SEC? Because I'm an Australian, but what's the stats with the SEC in settlement? I heard it's around about like 90 or 80 to 90%.
94% or something like that.
End up in settlement. So
prior
just be
to
a slap on the wrist. And once that happens, that's when you'll see the XRP ledger flourish.
Yeah. We'll see. December 6th is coming. So when the SEC has to come back with, the reasoning, did Ripple have investment contracts, or they have to prove that they had investment contracts?
That's separate to actually stating that's Ripple as a company, not the separate sort of, call it charges, I guess, or definitions.
So that's more with Ripple and like Chris Larson, right?
I think so. I was about to say the December 6th thing, and then there was a lady on. It's recorded. I'm recording these things just so everybody knows. And she was saying, I think there's like a congressional hearing on the 8th, so it's ironic timing. We've got the SEC has to actually cough up all this evidence that they've not been wanting to shitter. There's some sort of congressional hearing where they'll be grilled about this.
I just seen a post. I think I may be wrong, but like Representative Hammond, I believe it was just like a post or something. I think the date's
Warren Davidson,
8th or the 6th or somewhere around there. Yeah,
and then Warren Davidson, he replied to the Ripple or the piece by people look at the Token Taxonomy Act. This would resolve a lot of it. Talking about the SEC versus Ripple case. He retweeted what Charlie Gass, or I think Eleanor, or I can't remember last name, they sent out. So it's good to see that he is, replying to that. So it's going to be interesting. And the meeting with the CEOs on the 8th, they haven't announced who's going to be there. But I don't know if Brad Garlinghouse would even go since they're in a lawsuit. But maybe that's why they sent out that regulatory framework last week, just to get their feedback.
Good point. I've wondered if the SEC wasn't slow walking this thing, hoping that Congress would actually freaking do something, which I don't have.
That's what I was thinking too, was maybe, to get Congress to act, they had to light the fire somehow to get everybody to see it, what's going on.
Now, I have one dispute though. It is the SEC is made to protect investors, right? So why is the whole for instance, the scams. Like, why is this scams going on right now? You know, from them, and the SEC is not there to protect them, right? Like, that's one thing I'm confused about.
Right.
To set it, to make a point.
Yeah, for sure. Right. There's no system in place right now, you know, to, you know, and then wanted to go after exchanges. And, you know, you could possibly see that happening in the future to where, you know, these airdrops and all that stuff, if they would even allow them. I don't know.
Well, it is the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I don't think the exchange is falling outside of the SEC. As you know, I mean, that's makes sense that part falls in line with kind of reality. Oh, there was something else you just said.
That was just me. I agree 100% on this in that regard, for sure.
Well, the thing is not a security. This is my personal opinion.
Right.
I'm nobody. I'm just a dude.
Let me ask you this. Do you think
stablecoins bother me in a severe way?
Yeah, but do you think they're securities? I mean, in your mind, like, or, you know, would you say they are?
By and large, I think most of them are effectively margin loans. I used to trade for, I won't say the company, but a big company. And, you know, I've made margin calls on people, and it's not, we will take your house and we will take your kids' college savings and we will take everything until we,
right.
And to me, not all. I think trust line is different. Trust line's different. Some of them are backed by, like, when you have a USD stable coin and there's actually USD backing it, that would not apply to my comment. But when you have stable coins that are backed by crypto assets, to me, that looks a lot like a margin loan.
I agree.
To bring this back to Sologenics, I think I was in this space yesterday or day before, and Karma, I asked, do you see a connection to the liquidity hub and Sologenics, and do you believe I personally believe Ripple will be trying to back Sologenics as much as they can, because that will be a massive step for their XRP ledger. Just wondering if you've looked into it or heard anything fresh when it comes to Liquidity Hub and Solo.
Thus far, I haven't seen much about Liquidity Hub. I'm getting the sense that, so I wrote up a few years back, like how Xpool is on Medium. And when I first saw Liquidity Hub, I was like, okay, they're doing what they're right about. Okay. But I've gotten the sense now that there's more going on that I'm unaware of. So
fair enough.
I don't know. There's so many moving parts that can be arranged in so many different arrangements. I really get the sense that there's things going on that I just have no clue about, that are going to be understood. And I'm more like the financial numbers and like, how do you arrange these markets and how do you connect the dots and make XRP ledger? You've got exchanges, you've got liquidity flowing all over. You've got the do loans denominated in fiat but backed by XRP. You've got as far as I've seen, they've been extremely tight-lipped, other than saying, and then that's about it. There's no more details floating around out there that I've found.
I'm going to drop down back to listen in case someone wants to step up, and just going to,
There's room for it here shortly, unless somebody has a significant question, because I got to cook and I got to eat.
Thank you for hosting the space.
Yeah, man. making it a daily thing, and they're recorded. I'll throw it up on YouTube tomorrow, and I have a clue because in my physical life, everybody thinks I'm freaking crazy because nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about.
They feel like you're an alien or something, and it's like, you know, no one wants to hear it. It's, no one wants to take the time to learn something new to better their financial future.
Yeah, people are coming around though. I will, but yeah, it's anyway. Unless somebody's curious about, anybody can raise their hand real quick. Otherwise, I'll kill it here in the next minute or two.
Yeah, thanks for hosting the space, bro. We appreciate it.
No worries. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.